Kazuchika Okada is one of the greatest New Japan pro wrestlers of all time. It could be argued that he's a strong Hall of Fame candidate in many ways. One could argue he's every bit as strong as The Rock because of Dwayne's record-setting drawing power, but Okada would be in the very short list. Those aren't my words. That's what Dave Meltzer said when he inducted Kazuchika Okada into his fake Hall of Fame. Personally, I think Okada is good, really good. He can wrestle. As a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, I will safely acknowledge that he is a New Japan legend. But the brutal reality of male crossover stars from New Japan Pro Wrestling is their ceiling tends to be much more limited in the States. New Japan legend translates to internet darling. Tomohiro Ishii is Eddie Guerrero in Japan. With USA glasses on, he's closer to Otis. Katsuyori Shibata is Terry Funk in New Japan. Hardcore Holly in the US of A. If we're gonna put Kazuchika Okada in the same breath as The Rock, that argument will be punctured with holes because since signing with AEW, Kazuchika Okada has been anything but a draw. In fact, it doesn't even seem like he's interested in drawing anything from AEW except cash from his own ATM. Today, we're gonna talk about how Kazuchika Okada used his internet wrestling reputation to bilk Tony Khan into paying him tens of millions of dollars only to spend his entire time in AEW coasting on that reputation. Love that for him. But we're also gonna talk about how Tony Khan's one-man people-pleasing of Dave Meltzer will continue to mislead AEW into message board-friendly signings that'll continue to bleed AEW of costs, relegating them to smaller buildings and longer residencies. Subscribe and Lingawa.
AEW sucks right now!
Due to a combination of Tony Khan's over-reliance on message boards and an eagerness to Meltzerize his entire product, Khan signed Okada to a huge AEW contract. And despite being relatively young and very much in his prime, Okada is wrestling like a man whose future is secure and who has nothing left to prove. That's true about Okada, but it's not as true about AEW, who scored a huge TV deal but has since plateaued in all key performance indicators. AEW's TV partner is the notoriously dysfunctional WBD and finds itself on the edge of a streaming bubble that is dangerously close to popping. From a salary standpoint, Okada is one of the pillars Tony Khan has anointed to help AEW blow up rather than bust. Who knows if these massive streaming deals will be a thing in a few years when AEW is renegotiating its current contract. And even if it is, who knows if AEW will be able to turn things around and become the edgy, arena-filling juggernaut it was in its first 2 years. It's starting to look like if AEW ever gets its mojo back, it'll be in spite of Kazuchika Okada, who, for all his faults in America, has been wildly entertaining by doing more with less. But that's not what they brought him to the professional wrestling company to do. During his last one-on-one match on Dynamite against Kevin Knight, Kazuchika Okada's quarter hour went up a bit in total viewership, 5,000 to be exact, but the key 18 to 49 demo went down by about 10,000. The week before, a party match featuring Okada, The Elite, and Kenny Omega lost 123,000 viewers from the first to the second quarter and 44,000 more in 18 to 49. These were the biggest drops of the night, but to be fair, the first to the second quarter usually are. The match labored on into the third quarter, where it lost 2,000 more viewers in 18 to 49, but salvaged 21,000 total viewers. Believe me, I can go on and on about the evidence that Okada is not a television draw, but to add insult to injury, he's not even the old Okada anymore. This AEW Okada is a shell of himself, not because he's washed, because he's paid. Kazuchika Okada is doing the absolute minimum on the weeklies while getting a ton of money, and it's so beast, LMAO. Me on Wednesday night when Okada starts doing lazy lariats while Orange is doing lazy kicks. This might be the laziest any wrestler has ever been. All the guy does is call people beach and give them the middle finger. Tony Khan can pay me half and I'll do it better. $4.5 million a year for one match. Well, not exactly, but I get your drift. Kazuchika Okada reportedly signed a 3-year deal with AEW worth 2 billion yen, or $13.5 million. That equates to $4.5 million per year. In his 14 months with AEW, the alleged super worker has wrestled 38 matches. That's 3 matches per month, 129,000 per match. During his last full year in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Kazuchika Okada wrestled 97 matches, almost 3 times the amount he wrestled in AEW. Brock Lesnar, the gold standard of doing more with less, was making $2 million per match in his last year in WWE. But he's Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is a ratings mover, a legitimate draw, and $2 million to WWE might as well be 2 million yen. AEW is paying Okada game changer money, yet he wrestles like a video game character mid-glitch. Former WWE superstar Paul London recently called out AEW for wasting money on Okada. As a top star in New Japan Pro Wrestling, Kazuchika Okada took a certain pride in his work that in AEW does not exist. He became a meme. The discourse surrounding his matches have less to do with excitement and more to do with whether or not fans will get the real Okada.
Everybody who's going to wrestle Okada has it in their mind, I'm going to get the real Okada. I'm going to get this guy. And it almost never happens.
Desperate to save face for selling Tony Khan a bill of goods through his praise of Okada, Dave Meltzer, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble saying this with a straight face. Dave Meltzer's excuse as to why Okada isn't like that anymore is that Okada is a long match wrestler. In order to get the real Okada, you have to give him at least 12 minutes to get going.
Well, if I cut my monologue down, it takes me 3 minutes to get going to begin with, so if I cut it down by 2 minutes, I'm only going to have 1 minute where it really works.
GTFOH, David. Kazuchika Okada is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Rest assured he knows how to wrestle any style. His G1 match against Kenny Omega in 2017 was a sprint. That was the story of the match, is that G1 matches have a 30-minute time limit, and while they wrestled a 24-minute match, there was no wasted motion, only a sense of urgency. By the 12-minute mark, they were basically going for their finishes. Okada is a pro. He can work any style at any speed he wants. He just doesn't care because he's got that bag. He knows he can get away with coasting for a tribal sicko fan base, and even if he couldn't, Mans couldn't care less about his reputation in America. Tony Khan got worked. And in a business that has inspired 6 seasons of Dark Side of the Ring and counting, it's kind of refreshing to see a wrestler chew up a promoter and spit him out. Despite Dave Meltzer's Okada coping, Meltzer's own imaginary star ratings have betrayed the Rainmaker. In New Japan, Okada scored 27 imaginary 5-star matches. Since joining AEW, he's had 1. That's the same number of 5-star matches as Marina Shafir. As imaginary as star ratings are, they're basically what Tony Khan uses to pay his talent. From Kenny Omega to Will Ospreay to Kazuchika Okada, and as fucking ridiculous as this sounds, star ratings carry a direct correlation as to who gets paid and who gets pushed in AEW. And these imaginary star ratings are one of the many reasons that the TV ratings have gone down. Because imaginary star ratings do not translate to real life. Tony Khan keeps signing Dave Meltzer guys, and he keeps getting burned. The Hurt Syndicate, who have 0 star ratings among its original members, are a TV draw. Imagine that. The Hurt Syndicate have been one of the best signings in all of AEW. Let me find out Dirt Sheet Dave is now lobbying for the bland battery of Konosuke, and Kyle Fletcher to win Tag Team Gold. Fun fact, Kyle Fletcher already has 7 imaginary 5-star matches and Takeshita has 8. So get ready for a title change and a raise. Bonus fun fact, Kyle Fletcher
got off a block on socials, no.
There's an old saying that if you keep listening to fans, you'll be sitting with them. Tony Khan has already set a precedent of being bullied by bottom feeders on Twitter mid-show where he abruptly changed Nina Shirakawa's music. This only added fuel to the fire that Tony Khan is not a real boss, and he's not running AEW like a real business, but more of a Twitter town hall, where the incels run the asylum. It's no wonder Chief Executive Incel Dave Meltzer is his main talent scout and head of PR. The more Tony Khan relies on newsletter ratings to create stars, the longer AEW's drought will last. Check out this video and subscribe. Will the real Kazuchika Okada ever stand up? Tell me in the comments!